What's up, y'all? Flip here, EUC Chronicles, back with another goodie. And this one is a special one. Well, as you know, I've been 3D printing for a while. I have 3D printers, and pretty much most of them are bed slingers. But recently, I wanted to get my son into 3D printing. And what I noticed with the older printers was, it's fine to find something you want to print, set it up, and send it to the printer. But with my old Creality CR10, you always have to calibrate. And even after calibration, there's no guarantee that the initial first layer line was going to go down fine. And it was just like annoying and frustrating, not for me because I'm used to it, but to watch my son get excited for us to print something, and then we go to print something, and then it just becomes a nightmare and a headache. So I set out on this mission now to home in on exactly what I wanted. And what I wanted was, first of all, a printer that had auto bed leveling, and not just like some add-on, but that had real auto bed leveling. A printer that was fast. Because the other thing is a lot of the projects we were printing, we're talking like 9, 11 hours print time. And when you have a printer that's kind of working iffy, that becomes even more of a nightmare. I looked at the Anycubic. I honestly was going to go with the Anycubic with the multi print. I believe it's the A1 it's called. I was looking at that for a long time, looked at mad reviews, just did a lot of research on that printer, and I liked everything about it except two things. One, the build size was very small. I believe it's 220 by 220. It's a small build area. And also, having multicolor prints is cool, but it increases your print time exponentially. And that goes against what I was looking for. Eventually, I ended up going to the Creality website. And from there, I saw exactly what I was looking for. The first printer I actually ended up looking at was the K2 series, which is the multicolor print enclosed printer. The price is up there. The K2, I believe, is like $1,400, and the K1 Max Fast was like $700. And stupid me, all this ended up happening after Black Friday. I'm sure Black Friday there were some incredible sales I could have jumped on, and then maybe would have landed on that printer, but all things happen for a reason, and let me tell you why. The build size, everything else of the K1 and K2 series was exactly what I'm looking for. Onboard camera, just set it and forget it technology as far as the bed leveling and everything else that comes along with that. But again, I ran into the problem of the build size, and that is what kind of made me go, now I believe the K2 is 300 by 300 if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, that's a $1,500 printer, and I didn't want to sink that kind of money. The K2 actually is 350 by 350 by 350, so it's a big boy, but it's $1,500. And being like it's right before holidays, and I'm getting this mainly for my son to use, so I didn't want to get something that was so expensive and then he ended up not really using it, because I was fine with my CR10. I mean, granted, I needed to upgrade at some point, but I wasn't printing like that to begin with. The only reason the house started printing again was mainly because of my son was expressing interest. But it also got me back into printing again, so I'm not complaining. But I ended up coming across the Ender 3 V3. And aside from the fact that it's a bed slinger, it checked every single box I was looking for. All right, let me get into some of the specs of this machine. As I already said, it has a 300 by 300 by 300 millimeter build plate, and it's extremely fast. It prints up to 600 millimeters per second, which is incredibly fast in comparison to my CR10, which I believe was 100 millimeters a second. It has a 4.3 inch touchscreen, and the UI is very intuitive, very easy to navigate. I'm not surprised in comparison to the CR10, which is just a dial knob, which you kind of push to kind of select. It's not the easiest. It's not hard, but in comparison to having a touchscreen that shows you what model you're printing, how fast, it gives you all the information right there on the screen. So if you're using a USB stick, it is perfect. Which the other thing that I love about this printer is it is Wi-Fi based. So I could literally from the Creality app just send over a print over my network right to the printer. I can do this from anywhere. So let's say if I'm on a trip somewhere or if I'm not even home and I want to print something, I have my printer plugged in to one of the Amazon switches where I can turn the power on easy, and I can just go ahead and print something out, which is great. And because it's one of those set it and forget it printers, you don't have to worry about any design fails or anything like that. I've watched so many reviews on this printer, and the one thing that people kept saying is that prints do not fail with this printer. If you have everything set up properly and going through the right calibrations, it is not going to fail at all. If you have a power outage, you can resume your print like nothing's ever happened 12 hours later, which also helps because with the pause, I can literally change filaments on the fly and not miss a layer or anything like that. So I can do multi-layer prints without the hassle of dealing with an Anycubic that's going to go through all these filament wipes and all this nonsense just to print multicolor prints. I can do the same multicolor prints, but even faster just by hitting the pause button, going to change filament. It'll automatically extrude and then retract. I load my new filament in, lock it in. It's going to extrude that filament. I press resume and it goes right back to the print just like that. So that's another feature where I was like, yeah, this definitely beats the Anycubic in my opinion. Just if you want something that, you don't have to think about and worry about and you don't care about the time, then the Anycubic, is a good purchase. But I care about time, and this was one of the main things. I was just like, I'm not willing to sacrifice that just for multicolors, because at the end of the day, if I could just swap out colors mid print, it's the same difference for me. The price was perfect. I believe, let me just double check here. I believe the Max or the Ender 3 VE3 came in, and this is the Plus that I have. So I have basically the biggest version of that. It came in around a little shy of $500. I ended up getting the filament dryer add-on as well. I ordered the filament dryer with the 2 slots so I can dry 2 different filaments at the same time. Also came with the Creality Nebula camera, which is perfect because there is no built-in camera on the V3, but there is a USB slot on the side where you can just easily add a camera and you can look on your prints and look at everything and check on everything. And it has AI detection as well. So like if a print is going bad or something like that, it will let you know. So that's also great. If you guys are looking for a printer, if you guys are looking for an affordable printer that gives you all the features of the newest printers without breaking the bank, I definitely recommend the Creality Ender 3 V3. And yeah, that's it. So expect to see more prints coming from me soon. But yeah, Flip here, EUC Chronicles. I am out. Peace.